Welcome, Team Grumble. I am Erika Othen.
And I'm David Palmer.
And we are Beauty and the Grumble.
Well, we're back. Sorry we missed Labor Day.
Yeah, we figured, everyone would be at their barbecues at the beach. We took the day off, but we are back. It's Wednesday, and we have exciting news. We are officially picked up by another network starting this Monday,
Yes.
September 12th. We are going to be going live every Monday and Wednesday thereafter at a new time on a new network.
Yeah, alldigitalradio.com. Beauty and the Grumble is going to be keeping it gangster, as always.
Yes, at a new time. We're going to be going on 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. So for all you East Coast listeners out there, we'll be on an hour early.
Woo! Well, let's just start with Chaz Bono today.
David has a bone to pick.
No, I got a Bono about this one.
Well, basically, there's a lot of controversy going on. Everyone is talking about why and how ABC cast Chaz Bono on Dancing with the Stars. Apparently, there's a lot of people that are up in arms, a lot of parent groups saying, like, well, how can you cast someone that's transgender? In my personal opinion, I'm like, who cares? Let the guy dance.
Well, the thing is about Chaz Bono is you don't know who he is or what he is. And he's
a male now.
It's a little weird, okay? But I'm not saying it's bad. But it is weird,
Well, this is what a lot of groups are saying. They're saying, well, what am I going to tell my child? In my opinion, Chaz Bono looks more like a man than Carson Kressley.
Well, that is very true.
Chaz Bono looks more like a man than Rob Kardashian, in my opinion.
Ooh, that's a low blow. But the thing about Chaz Bono is you don't know if he's got a Slim Jim or not. It's like you don't know what to like. He's got is that implanted hair on his chin?
No, I think that he takes hormones. Now, for those of you who don't know, Chaz Bono is actually the son of Cher and Sonny Bono. Was born the daughter, but because, of gender issues, he went under the transition and is now a man. And supposedly he doesn't have the equipment, but he takes hormones. He has some facial hair. In my opinion, he looks like a guy, so I really doubt, the 5 and 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds that are out there are even going to really think any different. Why is it okay to have a gay man, but they can't have a transgender man, In my opinion, we live in a sexual equality society, and I don't think that there should be, anyone up in arms about it. Get over it.
I agree, too. I really believe that it's all good. It's whatever. This is, America 2011.
It's 2011,
And actually, it's more than just America. It's the world 2011. Yeah. It's just weird. That's all that I got to say about Chaz Bono. But she, that's the whole thing for me. I've heard other people say, because he doesn't have the dong, you can't really call him a he, but if he's, saying he's a he, then he's a he, I guess. So it's hard for me to say he or she, especially when they're showing pictures of Cher and Sonny with this little blonde girl.
I know, she was a really pretty baby. To me, it's, if she was unhappy being a she and she wanted to be a male, then God bless her, let her do it. I think it's a little strange the way, ABC did the right thing by casting him, went out on the limb, but now all of a sudden you don't hear anything from ABC. All this controversy is going on, they're basically leaving poor Chaz out to fend for himself. ABC has nothing to say about it. They're not defending their decision. They're not talking about it. You don't really hear anything from them at all. I thought that was very interesting, know?
The whole thing about it, too, is ABC, of course, hired this guy because they need some ratings.
Yeah, they need ratings.
And the whole thing about ABC is, they play the, we've got this he-she guy on the show, but we're actually going to keep our hands clean, and we don't even know what you're talking about. We got a he-she on the show? They act like it's what? And, honestly, ABC is just... They're just so good at keeping their hands clean, aren't they?
Yeah, they tap into the pot and they stir up the pot a little bit, but then all of a sudden they disappear. They're nowhere to be found.
No, they're in the kitchen with Grandma baking cookies. Who, me? I got the saltine crackers over here.
Yeah, so they're not sticking up for him. They're not defending their decision. They're not defending Chaz. So that's a little upsetting, But who is defending Chaz? Cher. Cher's gone on Twitter, and saying, get over it, people. It's 2011. Why are people being haters? Why is there even an issue? It's not like the guy's going to run around naked and go streaking. He's just going to dance. Get over it. Get over it.
Cher's a little weird herself,
I love
too.
Cher.
Cher's a little weird herself, though. It's a weird family.
It's a weird family, but you know what? I think it's a beautiful thing that
they're the new age
standing
Addams family. They're the new age Addams family. And where's Fester?
Fester? I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing that, maybe Chaz is Fester. I think it's a beautiful thing that she's sticking up for her, child and saying, get over it. He's on Dancing with the Stars. I think it's a perfect opportunity for parents to speak to their children about, what's going on. Like, why are you trying to hide things from your children? Even when they, when they get a little older, it's a perfect opportunity to have the conversation of sex. I mean, this is, the real world, people.
I know.
People procreate. It's a perfect opportunity to open up a discussion, talk about this. I mean, they're going to find out whether or not they're talking about it on the playground or if they're talking about it with their parents. I think education is always a good thing, especially when it's coming from the right source. So I think parents should talk to their children about this. Explain to them the real situation so that they're not getting it from somewhere else.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like, what's the big deal? Like, just tell your kid, like, hey, she turned into a man. It's not that big a deal.
And chose to, And there's other people out there. It's not like Chaz was the only one that, went through this experience. So I think it's good. I think it's good for lesbian rights. I think it's good for gay rights. I think it's good for transgender rights. They're saying anyone that kind of has, like, the sexual dysphoria, not saying that it's a sickness. It's just, unfortunately, she was born a woman, but felt that she needed to be a guy, So I think it's really great that they're putting it out there.
Put it out there.
And talk about it.
And just don't show us what's under the trunk.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people are upset, because it's like they're scared. They're like, oh, we don't want to see it. What's going to happen? He's just going to dance, folks.
But what's up with his girlfriend? Doesn't he have, like, this blonde chick that he's dating?
She's hot. I heard she's pretty.
I don't know if she's hot. I saw her last night.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I was checking her out when we were at the couch yesterday.
Yeah, was she pretty? Not like it makes a difference. I just want to know. I like to gossip.
She was like, why is she with... Well, she must be a lesbian. That's what I got to think. Because how... okay, so... At the end of the day, transgenders, to me, is like, okay, you're a lesbian stuck in a... Or you're a I don't even know how to, like, figure this one out, but it's like, it's like flopped.
Well,
so
basically,
it's like, you're like,
transgender.
You're trying to turn into the other gender so you could be with the other gender properly.
No, it's not necessarily sexual orientation. It's that she was born a female, but always felt that she was a male.
Right.
Like she was born
tomboyish,
this way.
Right?
But more so than tomboyish, it's like nothing felt right. Like, could you only imagine how she must feel? She didn't feel right in her own body. So therefore, and it is lengthy steps. This is definitely something that you don't choose to do overnight. It's something that was probably bothering her for a very long time. It is an emotional issue, so she probably really struggled with this for a very long time. Taking the hormones. I don't really know the process.
What about the name Chaz?
I think that's the only creepy thing about the situation.
Chaz, like, out of all the guy names, you're like, yo, I'm going to be Chaz.
Chaz kind of is like a child molester name.
Well, no, Chaz is definitely, like, masculine.
Chaz? I think Chaz is a feminine name.
Well, okay, I get what you mean. Well,
it's a little creepy name.
Chaz isn't her real name. What's her real name?
Chastity.
Oh, that's why she did Chaz.
You think so? It's kind of like Chaz.
Because when she hears, like, from the back, like, Chastity, he's like, oh, Chaz. Imagine, like, the weirdness that would be if you're like an old high school person, like, oh, Chastity, and then he's like, turns around like, it's Chaz now.
It's Chaz now, bitch.
Fucking feel the hair.
Well, he does have facial hair, To me, he looks like a dude. Leave him alone. Let him dance.
Yeah, let him wear some Levi's. Well, Eddie Murphy is back.
Eddie Murphy is back.
He's going to be, like, hosting the Oscars, it looks like.
I know, and this is a very interesting story for David and I. This touches very close to home, because a few months ago, David and I, we live in Hollywood here in California, and we actually had a run-in with Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, we were kicking it. We like to go to the Coffee Bean. Erica used to hate coffee. I got her into coffee, so now it's like every time there's a Coffee Bean, it's like, coffee.
I love my lattes.
But anyway, so we were going there, and it was like after a Runyon hike. We were hiking up at Runyon Canyon.
Middle of the afternoon, and guess who it is? It's good old Eddie Murphy in, like, this custom Eddie Murphy sports suit. Like,
honestly, I'm not a sports suit kind of guy, like, the Adidas sports suits.
It was like a sweatsuit, a velour
his
sweatsuit.
His was like, I would be wearing it.
It was baby blue.
I love Eddie Murphy, but anyways, he's like in the parking lot making out with some chick as if it was like the second date.
Young chick.
Looked like second date.
Yeah, and it was very interesting because he like rolls up in his like pimp suit, this blue velour, baby blue velour pimp suit, and he's in the back parking lot of Coffee Bean, which was a little, we were like, something's up with this. Why is he like patrolling around in the parking lot? He's Eddie Murphy, He was a little suspicious. So he rolls up with this chick, and like they're kind of like half in a car, half out. They're walking around.
He's groping her from like in the car.
And they're making out like two like 15-year-olds, running around in the parking lot. And David and I are just watching them. We're like, should we take a picture? Should we sell it to TMZ? Like, we couldn't believe it was Eddie Murphy making out with some random chick. I think he might be married. I don't know about that though.
That was the thing that's funny about the stories is like, Eddie Murphy, he's on top. He's got the Oscars. Beauty and the Grumble putting him on blast. I think you were cheating on your wife.
Murphy.
But yeah, I like Eddie Murphy. He's one of like the cooler actors out there. I've always liked his style, his vibe. He's positive, and he's funny. So I think he's going to do good. He's
a funny guy. I think it's good. Now, who were the hosts of the last auction? Wasn't it your favorites, David?
Whoever they are. What's their names? Jake Thenenball. Jake has no ball, and
Jake, was it Jake Gyllenhaal? And your favorite, you love her. What with the dark hair, the brunette?
She's the worst actress.
Anne Hathaway.
Honestly, just so you guys know, I think Anne Hathaway is the worst actress on the earth.
David
I think
she
is drop dead, plain Jane boring, and it's sad that they it's like, okay, let's take, in entertainment, this is a grumble that I gotta do. I'm in a grumble right now, is like, in entertainment, you gotta be interesting, you have to be fresh, different, original, hence look at our past, everything from, all the greats, right? You have to really create this amazing celebrity icon. Now we've let in all the whitewash. You know what I mean? All the it's like an ant farm, and there's ants everywhere in the entertainment industry. And it's like, to find the queen bee or the queen ant, like, you need to scour. So they're part of that boring.
She's a little ho-hum. She's very molded. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell, she gets her clothes just from a stylist. She doesn't really stand out so much. To me, it's like, take her or leave her. She doesn't really strike me, as something really to talk about. But apparently, they host the Oscars, and it was just a bomb.
It's like a buffet dinner, it's okay, but it's not what you really want. You really want the top,
filet mignon.
Right? Yeah, but you're not going to go to the buffet.
So you think they're the buffet?
They're the buffet.
Yeah.
They're buffet. Buffet celebrities. They're everywhere.
Bless their little hearts. They didn't do really so well. So we're hoping that Eddie Murphy is going to do better. I think he is. I mean, he's a comedian. He's a funny guy. He's got that laugh. When he laughs, you got to laugh along with him because his laugh is contagious. I think he's going to do a great job. So good choice, Oscar Academy.
Yeah, well, good job. There's everything going on right now with Dr. Conrad Murray and the Michael Jackson death.
Yeah, no, this is a big case, especially over here because it is taking place in Los Angeles. They're going through the jury selection of the Dr. Conrad Murray case, and I'm sure everybody knows, but if you don't, basically he's going on trial for the alleged murder of Michael Jackson. They're saying that because of his what was it, propofol?
To be honest, I think it's a manslaughter case. They've brought it down to manslaughter.
Okay.
So he's not technically the murderer.
Yeah. Well, basically, he's being blamed for it, though, because they're saying that he was writing them. Yeah, they were saying he was writing the scripts, for the prescriptions, and that Michael Jackson was just ingesting way too much. I mean, Michael Jackson has always been a controversial figure through his, to just go off air.
No.
Nice, David. So, he's through the plastic surgeries to the allegations with, the little children, and it's really unfortunate. Now, I was always kind of on the fence about Michael Jackson. Do I think he's incredibly talented? Absolutely. Do I think he's a little creepy? Yeah, you don't really know. He kind of talks in the baby voice. He's had all the plastic surgery. You don't know. Is he touching little boys? Is he not touching little boys?
He's like a little doll.
He's like a little Peter Pan kind of guy, He's really obsessed with children. I watched the movie This Is It. I don't know if, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. It was actually a great movie, and it shows how talented he really was. Now, this man was a true artist. He's writing the songs. He's producing the songs. He's performing. He was orchestrating the whole thing. You really get an appreciation for his true talent in this movie. And not that, wasn't young, when he was still dancing, he's popping and he's locking and he was, doing all those dance moves, and he looked pretty healthy. He died shortly thereafter, and they're saying it's because this doctor basically prescribed him and would admit him this propofol. For those of you who don't know, it's like some serious, anesthetic. It will put you out. Like, they only use it for the most serious of all serious surgeries.
Well, this is my point of view about it. I don't think he looked healthy at all. I think he looked like a white little frail ghost.
He always looks that way, though.
Yeah, but he was not healthy. His nose looked horrible, and that wasn't just plastic surgery.
That's plastic surgery. It's about to fall off.
Well, besides that, he did not look good. He looked frail. I know 72-year-old women that are DJs in London, and they're going down and banging the house down. 72-year-olds. So to me, okay, it was in his late 40s, still banging it down. I know 67-year-olds.
He's not in his 40s.
My 86-year-old grandmother is more active than Michael Jackson.
Well, but did you see him dancing, though? And you have to remember, he's on set for long hours. No, he was able to dance, and he was able to pull it off. When he was telling everybody what to do and organizing the whole thing. I'm not saying that he's not a little weird.
I think it was a long...
You think it was him?
I think it was just a long road of his own spiritual badness, his own negative vibe in his life. He pushed a positive message, but he was living in this darkness, and it's not the doctors. You at the end of the day are the one that get to do whatever you want. I believe in the black pill. If you want to take the black pill up there in Oregon and die, that's your choice.
But he wasn't trying to commit suicide, though.
We don't know that.
I think that he was so addicted. This is why I like this case, because it's bringing to light the fact that, this man was a doctor, and he's had over 20 deviations, in standard of care. He was enabling this man's addiction, this man being Michael Jackson. He was enabling his addiction. He was basically being bought. He was allowing Michael Jackson to buy him, and just do whatever he wants. And he wasn't taking into consideration that your job is to help people, Mr. Doctor. Your job is to make people better, to heal people, not to be shooting them up with propofol, which he really didn't need because he was allegedly using it to sleep. It's like you have to draw the line. So he should lose his license, in my opinion, and he should never be able to be a doctor again, and he should go to jail because he crossed the line. I'm not saying that Michael Jackson was not an addict. He probably was, but Dr. Conrad Murray, he was enabling him.
I believe that it was all Michael Jackson's fault.
But he can't administer it himself.
Well, he was the one who was saying, when you're a celebrity and you have that much money, you're buying whatever you want,
But see,
right?
Doctors shouldn't be able to be bought.
Well...
It's against the code. Why are you even in practice? You're supposed to be healing people.
The
board certified, being a doctor, it's ethics, It comes down to ethics. He wasn't doing the right thing. It's unfortunate that it comes that way.
But it's at the end of the day, though, it was Michael. I'm just saying, I'm not getting into, who, at the end of the day, all I'm saying it was Michael Jackson created his own problem.
And Dr. Conrad Murray
was part
basically
of it,
made it worse.
But I agree that he should probably go to manslaughter, right, or whatever. But I don't think murdered, and I don't think he should be taken full blame for.
But he's a doctor, and he's supposed to heal people, and he's intelligent enough to know, and is supposed to be a professional to know that I'm not supposed to be bought, and I'm not supposed to do this, and he's, prescribing him all of these medications. They're probably all interacting. I don't think, to be honest with you, Dr. Conrad Murray was the only doctor that Michael Jackson was going to see. We see this a lot. Take Anna Nicole Smith, for example. She was going to any doctor she could find, any guy in the street, prescribe me this, prescribe me that. All of these different prescriptions are mixing in, with each other. To me, it's a very dangerous, it's a slippery slope. But as a medical professional, they should not be enabling
And
this.
that's where my weird skewed view, because we all know I have a weird skewed view of everything.
I don't think so.
But the whole medical industry is the biggest joke of my life. Like, DMV is just as bad. So it's like, to me, as a medical professional, like, the only ones that are professionals are the surgeons, the ones at the hospitals. These doctors,
he's not some
they're on a
doctor.
different,
No.
like,
but see, he's on the same path as them. He wasn't just some guy at the free clinic being like, "Hey,
know,
Michael, you want this?" No,
he was definitely.
That's not what it was.
It's like, it's not like he's out there performing the surgeries. I don't know.
He might have been a surgeon, though. That I can't say. But at the end of the day, he's not some chop shop doctor. Michael Jackson wouldn't have gone to him.
BS.
You know, if you call yourself a doctor, you're supposed to heal people. You're not supposed to hurt people, and you're supposed to be responsible. That's my gripe. And in fact, Dr. Conrad Murray is my weasel of the week.
Let's give the weasel out.
Boo. That's basically all I have to say about that. Boo to you, Dr. Conrad Murray. Boo to you.
Well, I don't know how to transition to this story. I was going to make a bad transition, but I'm not going to be that bad. But, you know, Monday was the airing of, Beverly Hills Housewives. And, you know, there was a lot of controversy over this, but it looks like it's all gravy.
Yeah, basically, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills premiered on Bravo Monday night, and there was a lot of speculation whether or not it was going to be, are they going to show Russell Armstrong? And by the way, this is the cast member who committed suicide recently, so his family wanted him to be completely edited out of the show. They wanted to cancel the entire season. Bravo chose not to do that, but what they did do is that before the show aired, they had a little bit of a sit-down, and with the cast members, everyone except for his ex-wife Taylor, and they basically spoke out about suicide, and then at the end, and they did not show any scenes of Russell, so he was not aired at all. He was not shown in the series at all for this one episode, and at the end, they actually did a little PSA. They did a public service announcement saying, if you or anyone you know is thinking about suicide, please call this number, and they put the hotline number. So for me, I thought they actually utilized it in a good way, know? They brought to light suicide prevention.
Right, and honestly, this whole story to me is just another, it's like, this reminds me of the Chaz Bono, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Well, I mean, a man did lose his life.
I'm more about, his
family
who cares?
Is upset.
People need to, lighten up. I'm, on that end of the spectrum, so it's lighten up. I understand, but it's he signed away. It's do you... It's if, let's say he got in a car crash and died, okay? I'm just saying, let's say he got in a car crash and died. I guarantee you the same stuff would have happened because his attorney was on Dr. Drew last night, and they cared more about just him looking negatively and not being able to defend himself alive, more than the fact that he had suicide. So to me, it's it doesn't matter what happens, just lighten up. I understand the guy died, so it's they did a good job, and that's at the end of the day, and they didn't say negative things, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think they were worried about the family. The family was very upset. And I thought, and it's interesting that you brought that up. I think it's good that you brought that up because that seemed to be the only thing that his lawyer was worried about.
Yeah.
Is he going to be painted in a negative light or a positive light?
They didn't care about suicide.
Yeah, he passed away. I think that Bravo did the right thing. I knew there was no way in hell that they were going to cancel the season. The Real Housewives, that whole, franchise, I guess, for them is like a machine. I think that's where all the viewers are on for Bravo. I think that this probably got them more viewers because it's been in the news so much. But I think they did the right thing, and they brought to light suicide prevention. So in my mind, that's a positive.
It is, but that whole show, it's and Bravo, it's you already got to take it with a grain of salt,
you
right?
do. It's trash reality TV. It is.
And then to have this and then make a big controversy, or Chaz Bono, right? It's so identical, these two stories. It's who cares? Let it roll. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like we're watching Kim Kardashian. Oh, wait, maybe we are.
I think we are. We're brainwashed by it. Well, this is interesting. It's interesting you bring her up because she's been in the press a lot lately. Now, we all know she got married and they went on the honeymoon, and now she's back in Los Angeles. Now, they're saying that she could be pregnant. Wow. They're saying that she might, they went on a little mini honeymoon in Italy, and there's people that are out there Italians, I guess, that are saying that she bought some pregnancy tests in Italy.
Wow.
So I wonder, they're saying she might be pregnant with twins. Now, David and I like to talk about this.
We wanted to bring this story up, yeah.
Do we really think that it's going to last between Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries? Now, is she Kim Humphries? Did she change her name? Is she Kardashian Humphries? Is he Kris Kardashian? Did he take her last name? I don't know. But we're wondering, do we really think it will work? What are your thoughts?
Well, as an astrologer, it looks like it's going to work. She's a Libra. He's a Aquarius. Now, the one thing about Libras is they're figuring out who they want to be right now. So any Libra risings out there or Libras themselves, it's like, am I Kim Kardashian? What is Kim Kardashian? I don't even think she models anymore. She's honestly too fat to model now. So it's like, what is she? What is she?
I don't think she was ever really defined, though.
And this is where you'll see. I guarantee
she doesn't really have a title.
Now that she's married, now it might be mother. She might come out and be a mother now. But the whole important thing about this is she is really defining on who she wants to be. And I bet you $1,000 million trillion on the air as an astrologer. Within the next year, she comes out with a new title of who she is.
I think she's constantly evolving. She was like reality star, then she was model, then she tried to be a singer, which crashed and burned, a million different things. I was watching, I'm not going to lie, over the Labor Day weekend, I was watching a little bit of the Kardashians, and, they might work. No, actually, I don't think they're going to work. I give it a year.
Oh.
I'm just being honest. Do I believe in love? Am I an advocate of love? Yes. But I'm not too sure. I think she's all over the place. I think that all of the attention and the media and, the paparazzi and everything is going to drive him crazy. He has a little bit of a temper. I mean, he picked her up and he threw her into water and she lost a diamond earring and she was crying about it and there was all this drama.
I know.
He has a little bit of a temper. He's a little crazy. He's a ball player for the Nets, so she's going back and forth. She's so busy. I see something getting in the way.
And astrologically, they work as compatibility, but I don't know, with, figuring out who she wants to be. No. She might not want to be like with dumb Kris Humphries.
Yeah, I mean, he's not too quick on the intake, not the sharpest tool in the shed, I would say. He's just kind of like this big ball player guy, and we all know she loves the ball players. And in my opinion, Kim's a little Susie McFloozy.
Yeah.
She likes the men. She likes to play around in the man pool. So I don't know. Maybe there might be a faithful issue.
Maybe she's dressed like a hooker on Toddlers and Tiaras, right?
Maybe she was when she was younger. I don't know. Well, this is a very interesting story, and I have a love-hate relationship with this show. It is on TLC, which, by the way, is the Learning Channel, okay? That's what it stands for.
We're learning a lot over there.
I'm learning a lot on this channel. And they have a show called Toddlers and Tiaras, and basically it's about stage moms and their children, and, they dress them up. They give them, padded bras, and they're 3 years old, and the fake tans, and the fake teeth, and the fake hair, and the makeup, and the eyelashes, and basically make them look like little hookers. But now a mother actually did dress her 3-year-old up as a hooker to be in a pageant.
And
what is this?
It's like I say about Toddlers and Tiaras, is the people who run the shows are the weirdest. And then I think it's weird to be a judge, to go judge these little kids looking like this.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, whoever judged this was even more twisted to even probably vote high for this.
I don't know how well the little girl
went. I wonder if that girl won.
That's a good question. I don't know whether or not she went.
That's what I think is the most. If she won, then it's even crazier.
Yeah, I'm worried about the mother. I mean, she apparently, and this was the mother's defense, she says, "Oh, I love the movie Pretty Woman, with the one with Julia Roberts where she's a hooker."
Right.
Every girl I know loves that movie, okay? We all do. It's a great movie. We all love Julia Roberts. Am I going to have a child dress her up like a hooker in Pretty Woman? And mind you, let me say, it wasn't like the pretty Julia Roberts at the end of the movie who was more humble and looked nice and like a lady. It was like a little green tube top, some hooker thigh-high boots, okay? This weird, crazy hooker wig. I mean, she looked like she was walking on Hollywood Boulevard.
No, it was like red light district.
Yeah,
Amsterdam.
It was trashy, and the little girl was 3 years old. There's something wrong with this mother. That's severely inappropriate.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not down for it either. That'd be just in a guy version, dressing up like a boy as a bondage little boy or something.
Like the guy.
It's exactly the same thing, right?
like the little animal thing from Pulp Fiction with the thing in its mouth. The Thing. I think they called it The Thing. Yeah, it was a little disturbing, to find out about that. And the woman defended herself. Weird. It was creepy. I mean, that show was a little creepy enough, and I'm not going to lie, I love to watch it because it's like total train wreck television.
It is.
But, it was just too far. That was taking it too far.
That show does take it too far. Everything from, we watched a NASCAR episode where they had the little boy come out in like his little NASCAR, and they dressed him up as NASCAR, and he's in there with a bunch of girls.
I know.
It's just like, what is going on? I feel bad for the boy.
I know. Well, I
always feel bad for the dudes on there, the little dudes, the little groms. I feel bad for them.
The little boys are the ones that like it the most, it seems like. They're all like, hey.
They're little Chaz Bonos in the making. They're going to be Chastities now when they're done with this show.
They get their nails done.
Flip.
I know. They get their nails done. It's so funny. It's not the child's fault, And really, it seems like the children have no say in this. Let's just be honest. The mothers are like crazy monster stage moms, like momagers. They're like, you better practice now. They didn't even let the kids, go outside and play. They just have to do their dance routines and shake their ass, That's all the mothers tell their children to do, shake their ass.
Shake that ass and do. Because we're not going to give you any money because a new poll came out saying that baby boomers aren't leaving any money for their kids.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
This is so interesting. David and I just heard this story today, actually. We were like, we got to talk about this. Apparently, baby boomers have no trust in their children that they know how to handle money. They don't trust them with money, and they don't want to support them anymore because they're basically like, look, you guys are like practically 30. You're still living with us. Where's your job? What are you doing with yourself? What are you doing with your lives? We paid for your clothes. We paid for your food. We paid for your college education. Now you're back at home living with us. Get out. And baby boomers have had enough.
Well, I got to agree with them, though. I got to agree with the baby boomers.
Too.
It's like our generation, like, we're not going to be like our parents' generation where it was like, they get left something behind and then their parents, they were left something behind.
No, because the kids are sucking it dry.
Those days are over. We just, we got it good until our 30s, and then it was like, all right, then you're on for the rest of the way. I think I'd rather have it all at the beginning anyways and figure it out. And then
when you're a child and when you need it.
I think baby boomer kids like us, we don't rely on hoping our parents are going to leave us something. The ones that do are the ones that are way far behind and skewed. Because,
and they shouldn't be left anything.
When I heard this,
sick.
I'm like, wow, it actually makes a lot of sense because it's like I think society has changed. Our generation, the last thing on earth that I'm expecting is something I never even thought of that. I'm like, wow, if you really think about it, I think that's just the way that the motion of the the boat's moving.
Yeah, if you're a child and you're thinking about what your parents are going to leave you after they pass, there's something sick and wrong with you, and you don't deserve it anyway.
Right.
But really, I think it's just it puts into light how different our generation really is.
Oh yeah.
Because our parents got married very young, they moved out very young. David and I moved out very young. And I'm not going to lie, I had to move back in with my mom for a little while,
Right.
So I think it's like that back and forth. It's like, give us a break already. They just want to be on their merry way and on to retirement, and not be bothered by any of it anymore. And I don't blame them. Don't enable your children. That's where I stand.
Well, there's a fine line between don't enabling them and if they need their help, because it doesn't matter which generation that is, everybody's getting help from family. Family is family, and family's family.
And I agree
so
with
if
that.
you have a potato, I'm going to make that into some French fries, whatever you're not using,
Potato.
Whatever you feel. But this is a very interesting, I just think also with the economic times and everything, it's like, the last thing we should all be thinking about is what we're leaving ourselves at the end, even though America likes to think that way with Social Security. Now look at all the U.S. Postal Service people, right, that are retired. The Postal Service has no money to pay all the retirees.
I know, and the last thing you want to do is piss off someone that works in the post office. They'll go crazy on you.
I always believe God's got your back the whole way, so you don't need to worry about setting up these crazy plans because look at
security.
They can fall.
You know
what? Security at the end of the day is false.
Well, not necessarily. I think if you have children into the world, you need to have plans. You can't be living day by day. Susie Orman would tell you different.
Yes, I understand. And I understand Susie Orman's view, but it's proof that in this time right now,
it's almost impossible to find security.
Those plans that they say don't exist. Sorry to say, it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Security is an illusion right now. You can't even work for the government and be secure. So it's you know what? You just got to have faith.
have faith, and you got to put money in savings, because you can't necessarily rely on these government institutions, the 401ks and everything else. I mean, our dollar isn't really worth anything anymore. Well, so you can't necessarily rely on that. But
I want to do my train wreck of the week.
Oh yes, by all means.
Let's do that. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, my train wreck of the week is CVS Pharmacy.
From Social Security to CVS, folks.
Well, CVS seems to be doing pretty good. I don't care what city I'm in, there's a CVS.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
At least one, if not 5.
They're everywhere. They took over. When I was a kid, it was Thrifty. And they bought
I remember
Rite Aid.
Genovese back in New York. They had something called Genovese.
I would have shopped there. But my complaint is every time we go in there, number one, there's the guys that are outside waiting for donations, right? Whether they're Salvation Army. I don't care if you're Girl Scout cookies, because, I like those. And I'll buy those. But
yes.
There was a dude the other night, remember? I've got a couple things to grumble about CVS.
David, is not happy with CVS.
I walk into CVS and unhappy.
He's just grumbling. He's grumbling mad.
Well, we go, and there's a guy. They've gotten good now here in L.A. When you go to show up at the store, usually they wait for the way out to ask for money, because if they ask you before you walk in the store, the second time they catch you, you're already have said no.
Yeah, but don't fool yourself. When you walk in, they're already sizing you up, trying to figure out how much money can I get from this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about homeless people, because they are there. I'm talking about the Salvation Army guy, with the little pot. With the white
little pot. This dude had a chair. Like a chair that he puts in his car, and he's got it to where he sits in the chair, like leaning back, like, hey, you guys got some money for me? With this little thing, and he's jingling it. And I do this now, when I'm I get crazy on people. I'm like, no, you're not going to get anything.
David yelled at the guy. He's like, nice chair, guy.
I'm on, nice chair, buddy. And then we walk in, and then he has the nerve to ask again when we walk out. I'm like, oh, dude. And I gave him a look, and he was sitting out of the chair when I showed up. He got out of the chair to ask me because he knew I was weird about the chair.
And I don't think it's just our CVS. I think it's all CVS. But I have to put this little disclaimer.
Stores.
Yeah, I have to put this little disclaimer that our CVS that we go to is, I think it's it's way gone crazy. I mean, David and I have pulled up. So David and I have pulled up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the woman who works in CVS, we've seen her drinking liquor out of the back of her car, out of the trunk of her car. Then she goes back to work, and she's all tipsy. The pharmacy line is like an hour. It is crazy. People are just pissed off. They want to get their meds, and the worst part of it all is that they don't use clerks to ring up your transaction anymore.
This is my grumble. And, the thing that really grumbles me is you have self-checkouts now because they're too lazy to do anything. But they'll have a guy there, right? But they have the 4 checkouts. And the way that these things work, computers are really smart, but they're not as smart to figure out the self-checkout now. So when you have, a lot of stuff, Eric and I shop for a lot of stuff, there's 6 of us here.
We're always in CVS.
It's us 2 and 4 dogs, so there's a lot of stuff to buy.
But anyways, cleaning supplies, things like that.
We put them all down. When you scan it and put it in the bag, if it's not the exact weight in the bagging area, it goes, please wait for an attendant.
I know.
And then the whole computer thing shuts off. It doesn't recognize the weight. Or if you let's Erica, she buys little whatever things, and they might be light as a feather, so there's no weight to it, not even an ounce.
David's just pissed.
And I'm throwing the thing and hitting it, and the only way to make it work is hit it. So I'll make up a weight, I'll just hit it, and then the people are too busy, and there's no clerks anywhere, and it's the worst thing. How am I going to help myself if I can't even let the freaking thing work?
I know. Well, and we're not the only people that feel this way. I mean, I've seen women go crazy at the self-checkout, tapping their foot, yelling at the attendant.
Crazy.
People are irate. What's the point? Is it they need a better system. Now, the only thing I like about CVS, and the only pro and the only reason, because there's a lot of negative, let's be honest, lately, especially in the one that we attend, is the extra bucks.
Yeah, you get some extra bucks, but they're overcharging you. I went to Target, and everything's 30% cheaper at Target, and then they're giving you the free money back to cover the expense of what you could get it somewhere else.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be steering you away from the CVS from now on.
Honestly, I go...
It's got your blood pressure up pretty high, babe.
Well, and then I got to go there with Erika, so that's a whole different story. It's like, damn. Well, I'm pretty cool.
I got distracted by all the pink sparkly things, and I love the shampoo section. I'm trying to find a new conditioner to use. The makeup, I do a little beeline. I'm like, all right, we're going in for bleach. That's all we're gonna get. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, bam, beeline to the makeup section.
Bam, over here. But the worst is like all the little displays that like are a little deal. Erika falls for every display. If it's like the worst deal I've ever seen in the world, it'll be like 4 for $20, and I'll be like, she'll be like, ooh, yes, 4 for $20, and I'll be like, they're usually like $2 a piece, and then she's like, no, 4 for $20.
We might need them just in case the world ends. We need backup supplies of things here.
They say some of the best salesmen get sold the best, right?
That's what it is.
And I think we both do in different ways. But it's so funny because at CVS, Erika, for the extra care bucks too, it'll be like spend $30 in Clairol products and get $10 extra bucks back.
I look at it as an investment. It's a self-investment.
So you get $10 back of CVS, but you got to spend $40 or $30 of Clairol. Look, so it's like, okay, well, we'll buy 3 things of the shampoo, and we'll get the dry shampoo, and we'll get 2 conditioners, 1 for extra, just so we can get the $10 so I can go buy the chocolate that I just like
to trial the new products. I'm attracted to all the bells and whistles. I'm like Miss ADT when it comes to CVS, because I just like anything pink and shiny, and I'm like, ooh, new. I want to try it, So that's I don't know. CVS is cool with me.
Well, in my sandals, I had like $80 sandals that I had bought, and then little Manny's chewed them up, and so Erika was like, oh, well, we were going on vacation in Virginia. I'm like, oh, let me go to CVS. They'll probably have a cheap pair there. $2.99 was how much they were. It was the best pair of sandals I've ever had in my life. See? And people think they're designer.
See? CVS isn't that bad. It's a give and a take, my friend.
It should just be called Chinese. CVS should stand for Chinese versus...
Veterans, because they try to get the collections, society.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know.
There it is.
All right, we're going off course. All right, so David saw a new article that basically said the top 10 most dangerous cities to drive in.
Yeah, that have the worst drivers. And the number 1 city.
I thought that it was California, because I have never seen worst drivers in here in California. What was number 1?
I forget.
Well, I know California was on there somewhere. It was Glendale.
Glendale,
California was number 3.
Oh, number 1's Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
That's right. They said, all of our state or all of our lawmakers are the worst drivers in America. And, it's true.
Obama's just rolling on dubs. Well, Obama doesn't need to roll on dubs because he has that, pimp mobile that he's rolling around in, that giant, tour bus that's, all murdered out with the rims and everything else. But apparently everyone else on Washington is just driving crazy.
Yeah, it's really bad there. And then Glendale was 3, but number 2 was
Was it Baltimore? Baltimore was up there. Baltimore just gets a bad rap all the time for some reason.
Some cities I had never heard of were on there too, like little ones. It was the weirdest thing ever. Look it up. It's actually the top 20 cities. New York was actually in the back.
Number 20.
Number 20.
Which I was surprised about, because there's a lot of crazy drivers in New York, especially in Queens and Brooklyn. They do this thing now. It's like an insurance scam, okay? Where they pile 4 or 5 people into a car. They'd zip around on the highway, and then all of a sudden they'd pull out in front of someone, okay, and then slam on their brakes so that the person behind them hits the back of their car, okay? And then all 5 people come rolling out, and they're like, oh, my neck, oh, my back, and they try to sue them and get the insurance money. So I thought, New Yorkers, they could be a little shady if they want to be.
Well, the thing that's really weird, about being in New York is Erika and I were in Manhattan, and she's like, hey, babe, do you want to drive? And I'm like... it was my test. I'm in Manhattan. I forgot where we are. We're on 7th Avenue. We're right over by...
Just chilling in Midtown.
Yeah, we were in Midtown, but no, we were close to. I'm acting like I know Midtown. New York so well, but where's Times Square? We're right in Times Square. Okay, that's Midtown.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, we're in Midtown, just kicking it, and she's like, "You want to drive?" And I'm like, "Me drive here right now? There's 50,000 people everywhere.
Yeah.
Every crosswalk has, no joke, 100 people in it. 100.
We're here. There's a lot of people.
In Manhattan Beach, California, there was 5 people. And I'm telling Erika, I'm like, I can't do this. There's 5 people in the crosswalk. She's looking at me There's like 100 people in New York. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
I know.
So if you really look at it, you guys are smarter, better drivers because you guys have to deal with way more situations. Yeah. And there's no such thing as a parking spot in New York.
We're dodging pedestrians.
It's Pac-Man.
I know, seriously. Well, in my opinion, the most dangerous spot on the road, period, no matter where you are, no matter what city you're in, are parking lots. I think parking lots are so dangerous. You've got the people, you've got the flying carts, you got people backing out, not paying attention. I see accidents all the time, people backing out into each other, carts flying into your bumper. They're dangerous places.
We got a flat tire yesterday.
I know, David and I did. The road period is dangerous, especially in California. I was actually very surprised that California didn't make it all the way up there, LA, because people will be driving 80 miles an hour down the road. And by the way, like, there are so many lanes. There's 5 lanes, on your side of the freeway, and they'll just slam on their brakes. Doing 80, they don't care. But yeah, we got a flat tire yesterday. David fixed it though. I have my very own MacGyver, folks. David fixed the flat tire in less than 5 minutes. It was very sexy.
No joke.
I must say, it was very hot.
Thank you.
Good job, babe.
Anyways, IHOP.
Yes, talk
about
dangers.
One of our favorite places.
Speaking of dangerous places, now apparently, and this, I love IHOP. IHOP is a kind of place.
They have the best drink I've ever had in my life there. It tastes like slush puppies. Remember slush puppies?
I know.
But anyways.
IHOP is one of our favorite places. They always send us coupons in the mail. They let seniors go and eat for free. They let kids go and eat for free on Tuesdays. How can you be pissed off and angry when you're in this wonderful place?
Open all night.
They're open all night. They serve breakfast and French toast all day, 24 hours a day. Like, how could you be angry? Apparently, some psycho rolls into IHOP in Nevada and shoots 13 people.
3 dead, too. And
what
a couple
of them
were like in law enforcement. There was a lot in law enforcement, too.
Well, apparently, like, he was just looking to shoot people. It wasn't like anything specific. He didn't have any specific victim that he was, trying to target. The guy just went crazy in IHOP. How do you go crazy in IHOP? It's like one of the happiest places on earth.
Well, I don't think he had the right syrup at the table. But honestly, this guy looked creepy. If you look at his picture, it's all over the place, CNN everywhere. He looks nuts. And, it was in Carson City, Nevada. I don't know. Have you ever been to Carson City, Nevada?
No.
Do you know what the capital of Nevada is?
Carson City, Nevada.
Yes. Very nice. So
nice
it's
guess.
at least in the capital city, but it is a little weird place. I've been there before, actually.
Well, apparently the guy shot himself, and then he ended up dying. After he, shot all these poor, innocent people, he then shot himself and died in the hospital.
Like I said, false security out there.
I know. So now we got to worry about CVS. We got to worry about IHOP. We got to worry about Comets. What is it there to worry about?
Well, the Comet's dimming down, they say. So
I know.
Looking good there.
Looking good, folks. Looking good.
Well, Madonna's coming out with a new album. I guess we're looking good there, right?
Yeah,
or not.
Or not. Madonna. I'm saying. She always comes out with great music. She's dating this like 24-year-old, and she's in her mid-50s. It looked like she's kind of
senior citizen.
No, she's very far from being
singing
senior.
Albums.
She's very far from being senior, but she was groping a 24-year-old little kid who looks like he's 16, which I thought was interesting. Maybe he's going to be the new inspiration for her new album. We shall see. But apparently she went crazy on a fan, though, too. Did you hear that story?
Oh, about what kind of flowers were those?
Yes, apparently Madonna doesn't like hydrangeas.
What is a hydrangea?
It's just a flower, I used to have some growing up. They're pretty, I don't know if they necessarily have a scent, but they're more like a bush.
She was pissed.
And a fan bought her a hydrangea, went up to her and was crying and shaking and just so in love with Madonna, a super fan, and bought her a flower, and then she grabbed it and just kind of like threw it over to the side, and in her microphone, I guess she didn't know she was going to be heard, she was like, ugh, she's like, I hate hydrangeas. She's like, didn't they do research? Don't they know I don't like hydrangeas?
Well, I don't even know what a hydrangea is, but she is the queen. She's a Leo. She can say as she will. She's Madonna, but she was a little harsh. But,
a little harsh. It's
but
a fan.
At the end of the day, even if a fan came up to me, like I have a lot of fans, but let's say if I had a fan come up to me and they were like, here's what's something I don't
banana,
like. Here's a CVS $5 gift card. I'd be like, oh, well, great. I hate CVS, but I'm down. I'd probably say something, too.
You think he'd say something? I would never. I would just
don't ever give me a CVS gift card, kids.
Yeah, I would just be appreciative. You know, you got to remember, you got to be humble. You have to stay humble and appreciative, and you got to remember where you came from. And your poor fan, you know, you get the fans are who makes you.
Right.
You know, that's who makes you a superstar. So,
especially when they shop at CVS.
Get off your high horse, Madge.
Well, it's relationship time. We're at the last 10 minutes of our show here.
Yes, so
I should be talking in the mic more, but
So we're going to go into our relationship segment. Now I have a very interesting story. Angelina Jolie was just actually seen. She's out in the scene. She was seen with a president. Was it a president or a prime minister of another country? And apparently she took a picture with him and his wife. And now the wife didn't look too happy in the picture. She looked kind of pissed off. And this rises, and basically they're calling Angelina Jolie a homewrecker, and they're saying, keep her away from your man. She'll steal your man. She's done it to Jennifer Aniston. She's done it to other people in Hollywood. They're saying, you know, keep her away. And this raises an interesting question. You know, should you allow or should you be okay with your significant other having friends of the opposite sex?
We talked a lot about this, and we'll do it again here on air, but there's definitely limits to it. Of course you can be friends. That's cool, but it's like friends when you're hanging out, especially if you're married. It's not like I want my wife going to hang out with Joe, her friend, every day, and going out and doing things, and, you know, friendly conversations, and, you know, group activities and stuff are cool, but individually working out, or going to the gym together and then catching lunch afterwards.
Yeah, then it starts to seem like they're almost dating. This is where I stand. I would never put any boundaries on someone that I'm dating. I'm not the type of person that says, well, you can do this and you can't do this, and you should hang out with this person or you shouldn't hang out with this person. But what I do feel, you know, because you have to have trust, and in my opinion, that's the foundation of every relationship. What I do feel is really no new friends of the opposite sex should be really creeping around. For instance, you know, if you, for instance, you know, you got a new job and you were working, and all of a sudden you started making all these friends with women, I wouldn't really appreciate if you were hanging out with them, you know, going to the movies. As long as I was included, then it would be no issue, you know. But if you have older friends that say you went to high school with, or you grew up with, or, you know, you knew before me, then by all means remain friends.
Yeah.
You know, but it's kind of like a slippery slope.
If you hang out with somebody too much, it becomes too right. Isn't it? We heard that yesterday.
Too right. You know, it
becomes too right.
Yeah, it leaves.
And that's not what you want.
No, that's not what you want at all. You know, it kind of leaves it open, and you don't want to be judgmental, and you don't want to be worrying, and you don't want to have your significant other basically in jail. But as a healthy couple, you should want to do activities together outside of the home. Find other couples, you know.
Beauty in the Grumble.
Exactly. Now, what about if the girl? Okay, what if I got a girlfriend and she turned out to be a lesbian? And you found out she was a lesbian, and I was hanging out with her, going to the movies. As a man, would that make you feel uncomfortable? Is that something that you would have an issue with?
For me, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Because she's a lesbian.
Yeah, and I'm not a lesbian.
Right.
Right. No, for me, if you had a gay friend, that wouldn't bother me at all.
But I would be nervous if you were hanging out with Chaz Bono.
A transgender? Really? Well, to me, it's hang out as a couple. You know, you don't have to. And I'm not saying you have to do everything as a couple.
What about this?
What?
What if you got asked from your agent to do a direct TV commercial tomorrow, and you had to play the role of a husband in a robe?
I would be a little. I would be wondering why my agent wanted me to play the role of a husband. I don't think that's appropriate casting.
I'm saying, I mean me.
Oh, you. Okay. For you, would I have an issue with that? Role of a husband. Okay. Truthfully, this is where I stand with that. You have made it clear to me very many times that your goal in life was not to be an actor, that you wanted to create your own identity, you want to do the reality thing, that you don't want to be on set, you don't want to be an actor, you don't really like it. So if you were going on auditions, trying to be a husband, I would be a little But honestly, to me, it's you can do what you want to do. I trust you. I really do trust you. Now, if there was going to be touching in the scene or making out, I would ask myself, well, why do you want to do that if you don't necessarily want to be an actor and you have other focuses?
But let's say I wanted to be, I'm not saying me, because I'm not going Sorry.
Okay, if your dream was to be an actor and you had this dream before I came along and you made it very clear that this was your dream, then to be with you, I don't feel that it would be right for me to have really a negative opinion on it. So if that was your dream and that was your plan and what you wanted to do, I wouldn't have an issue with that because that's pretty much what I'm signing up for.
Right.
You know, and I know that by getting into the relationship.
But this goes to, like, look at Will and Jada Smith. Look what just happened to them.
Yeah.
Even both of them actors, and look at it looks like she cheated on him.
Well, they're speculating that there was some cheating going on.
I think there was some funny business going on.
I don't know why any woman would want to cheat with Mark Anthony. He looks like a little chihuahua.
It gets too right?
He's about 5'4". He's a skinny little guy. You know, I don't really see the attraction. And I'm just being 100% honest. You know, I think that they have a strong bond. I think that that's all just tabloids and nonsense and gossip. I don't think that there's any legitimacy to that. But, you know, if you didn't want to be an actor and all of a sudden you want to be on set making out with chicks, that probably raised a red flag. I'd be a little bit like, well, what about me?
Well,
you know?
I'll be honest.
I
think... even acting, I think it's a cop-out. I don't think, like, I look at I look at all the celebrities who, they're actors, and all of them are just, they aren't, like, living a true, like, love relationship, I feel like it's, like, skewed. I feel like it's, like, it's their cop-out to, like, be like, oh, yeah, so, well, I'm an actor, so I can go do this.
So
I think
have a fling and a little Susie McFloozy on the side.
On the set for the 3 months that they work together.
That's got to be very difficult. And see, I can look at it from both points of view because...
I don't believe in it.
You know, I can look at it from both. And it's got to be hard to watch. I wouldn't really be able to watch that, you know, to see you on screen making out with, you know, another woman, whether or not she be beautiful or not. It's still another woman, and there still has to be some kind of connection. You know, you swapping spit with another chick wouldn't really make me too happy, you know.
You
but
can't
on the
fake
same time,
a good kiss. Like, you can't fake a kiss. But you can't fake a kiss. You can't.
And movie kisses nowadays are not like what they used to be, where they were like, you know, and closed mouth. Like, they are getting into it because they want to win the Best Kiss Award on MTV Movie Awards. You know, they're, like, really getting into it. So I would maybe, I mean, it would probably be, like, a concern if you just decided that you wanted to do that. Now, if you were to play the role of a husband and there wasn't going to be any spit swapping, I don't know. I would probably... You know what I'd probably do? I would probably sit back and just see how you would react to it. I would be like, okay, and not really, you know, and see what you chose to do. That's probably what I would do.
Well, kids, Beauty and the Grumble needs to shine off now. We actually had one more. We had a couple questions we didn't get to. One was facial hair. Yes or no? We'll end with this. Yes,
David is growing a soul patch. Now, David has had has had a goatee in the past, and it was interesting because we were talking about this for 5 years, and I was being honest, you know, and he had a goatee, and it was actually cute yesterday. I liked it. It was like, it had a little kind of thing going on here, and it came down here, and then it came, you know, across, and that looked nice. It was connected. If you were running around, to me, mustaches, they're a little creepy. They're a little 80s. If you're running around with a mustache nowadays, you know, you're either like an old man or you're like a child molester. That's just my opinion. You don't see too many guys rocking the stash, you know. A goatee could look right on the right guy. I think, like, facial hair is an ego thing, and I think guys that can actually grow it are running around with it because they're like, haha, I can grow it, to, like, other guys that can't, because there's a lot of guys out there that can't grow a full one, so they're, like, rocking it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily a fan.
I think that's more of a question for girls to answer, but I think it's just, as a guy, just once in a while, I hope you know that only in the last couple 100 years or so did they actually figure out that a way to cut the hair like this.
Yes, and so they actually didn't used to take baths.
Right. See, that's unfair to say. We're talking just about this, you know?
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm talking about that hundreds of years ago. I mean, I'm very happy that I grew up in, you know, the 2000s, and we're not cavemen that are running rocking the full beard, like, you know, the Jesus beard, you know? I don't know. I think it depends on the person.
Well, All Digital Radio, Monday, September 12th, we are on the air. We're going to be on 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern now.
Yeah, so this Monday,
alldigitalradio.com. You can go there, sign up, you can join a membership, or, you know, follow us on Twitter at beautyandgrumble and beautyandgrumble.
Yes, that's the letter N. So it's Beauty and Grumble. Please join us on Twitter. We love to tweet. We love to talk about the stories that we find during the week. And please join us on All Digital Radio. We still will be streaming live, so you'll be able to see and hear us.
Yeah, we're going to do the stream, too.
We're going to do the live stream. We love that. And we'll be taking live callers, just like on...
I'm doing this. We will stream our video, but not the audio on Ustream. The audio will come through All Digital Radio. So you'll have to be listening to All Digital Radio. But you can watch us on the side. I'll post the link on that, too. I can't do both the way that their system works. Plus, I want you to listen to All Digital Radio.
Yeah, so listen in. It's going to be really easy. Just click the link. But we're excited. We're excited to be part of this new network.
Yeah, and it's a phone number, too, to call. We'll be taking callers again as well.
Yes, we will. So thank you so much for always listening, for all your love and support. It means the world to us. We truly do appreciate it. And, hit us up. If you guys have a grumble and you want to talk about it or you'd like us to talk about it, please hit us up. We would love to hear from you. Either email David or I or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be.
beautyandthegrumble@gmail.com.
Yes. Well, thank you, Team Grumble. Thank you for listening again. Like I said, we love you and appreciate you. And we'll see you soon.
We'll be bringing out the Grumbelinas and Grumbelinos next week.
Ooh.
Bye.
Bye.